So time to make a start on this end of the engine. So that involves sorting out the mag housing. I've got a new copy of one of those. I've had the seals, the oil seals that are going to be involved, I've had those on the crank overnight in the house, so they're kind of hopefully moulded into position a little bit better. I read somewhere that's a good idea. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is put the bearings, oil seals, circlips and so on into the mag housing. Then I'm going to put the bearings and seals into the engine case, and then depending on how long that takes me, I might even try and get the crank fitted. So jobs for today. Right, so everything laid out. I have my book, I've got my mag housing which I'm about to heat up, and then there's an outer seal, a washer, a bearing, the inner seal, circlip, correct drifts, circlip pliers, two-stroke oil ready. So I'm going to heat this up, just expand it a little bit, and I'll cut back in when I'm ready to try and fit everything. So first job, I'm going to drop in the first oil seal, which is a 2542.5, checking the book, 2542.6, correct. Let's put some oil around it. Drop that in, should fit flush. Seems to have gone in nicely. Flushed all the way around. Check. Next I need to put in this little kind of indented washer with the flat side against the oil seal. That goes in dead easy. Next is the bearing, so I'm going to put a little bit of around there. How's that one go? That seems to be seated correctly. So that's the second oil seal. If I know that I'm using a slightly thicker bearing because I've got a GP crank, so I don't need a spacer in, although the smaller cranks, the LI cranks, do. And then fitting the other oil seal, which is a 3352.5, or is it again? Is it a 6? It's a 6 with this. Finally, another battle of circuit. This is a seriously strong circuit. There we go. Sorted. So I think that's the two oil seals in and bearing in. Obviously the bearing still needs to be greased before I put it in the engine, but that's now, that side is done. And now we're going to do inside here. So I've prepared the bearing already greased up, because I think it'll be quite difficult to grease that bearing once it's in. I've got a special washer that goes over the top of that. I've got the covering plate which then drops in there, and I've already fitted the oil seal inside that. It can only go in one way, and then when it drops in, it means that the spring side of it is facing the crank. I've got my 4 little screws ready. I'm going to put a dab of Loctite just underneath the heads. When those go in, I can screw those in and that. Right, so bearing in first. Try and get straight. What I'm going to do is I'm going to check from the other side to see whether it's gone in quite thin, the metal on the case, so I don't want to smash it too far. Looks like it's gone in. Okay, so then my gasket drops in. I hope you can see that. There we go. Nicely. Ooh, very sticky grease. And then I need to put the plate in, which has got the bearing, sorry, has already got the let's drop the plate in, which has already got the oil seal. Screw in there. Everything looks very nice. Going to put a tiny blob of blue Loctite just under the heads as recommended. Okay, so therefore before screwing in, what we're going to do is just cinch down top of the hand with a crystal sand and go along with the attachment for screw like that. Change of plan, sorted it out. According to Sticky's manual, the dry side also retaining plate screws should be done to 4.7 to 5.2 Newton meters. I've got a torque wrench that goes that low. 1, 2, 3. Oh, job's a good one. So that's the, feels really nice and flush all the way around, so that's another job done. So we've now got bearings on one side, bearings fitted with the mag housing. So the next job really I can do at this end is to fit the put the crank in, pull the crank through, fit the mag housing, bosh. That's for another day though. Time to tidy you up. So today's job, if we can squeeze it in before it gets too dark, is to get the crank fitted in. So first thing I need to do is to put the studs on for the mag housing and get that done, because I think it'll be easier when there's nothing else in the way. And looking at the book, although there are 6, there's only 3 for this, which is 1, 2, 3. So we'll put those in. We're then going to put the crank in position and put a bit of 2-stroke all around there where it seals against the oil seal down in there, and we're going to pull it through using what will be off the front sprocket, and pull it through the side using the original inner bolt, and if necessary I've got some big washers that I can pack out with as I pull it. When that's in place, we're then going to put the mag housing gasket on. I'll probably will put some gasket sealant on it as well, belt and braces, and then finally the mag housing will drop in there and we're all tickety-boo. Previously I have already added on the inner bearing race onto the crank, which ties in with there. That all sounds really simple, and it sounds like it should be about a 15-minute job. Get your watches running. Okay, so I've kept going. I think I've got it. It feels like it's all the way in, and this is a 0.5 of a millimetre, and I can slide that in there. I can just about feel that, so that's okay. So I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to fit the mag housing, because I can then check the gap on both sides. Yeah, so we'll do that next. Before I fit the mag housing properly, what I've done is I've just put it on without a gasket and knocked it into position, because I just wanted to check what the clearances were either side. So this bottom end here is obviously facing the inside of the engine, and I can slide the 0.5 millimetre feeler gauge in there, and then if I go to the top against the mag housing again, 0.5 millimetre goes in. Obviously there's a gasket still to go on. I need to take the mag housing off and put the gasket in, but 0.5 millimetre each side sounds pretty snug and nice for me, so we'll see how that works out with a gasket. So that's a light smear around one way. So here's my gasket, and that little extra nozzle goes on that bit there, pointing towards the cylinder. So it's not that one, it must be that one. holes are lining up nicely. I just read somewhere or watched on a video that it's a good idea to put some grease around where the mag housing fits in. Just, I don't think it's for sealing, I think it's more to make it a bit easier to get back out again. So we'll put some grease all around here. And then finally I'm going to put a smear of gasket sealant around that surface there as well. Right, mag seal in, next job. Right. I think it says in the book, clearance crankshaft and the mag housing suggest is 0.6 to 1 millimetre. So if I just quickly change that to 0.6, 0.58, 0.6. Sorry, mag housing up there. So that definitely goes in, and 0 definitely does. So I've got essentially 0.6, 0.5. That sounds about okay. The crank turns, there's no noises, it's not catching on anything. So now I just need to tighten down the mag housing. Double checking the magic book. Magneto housing, 10mm studs. 4.7 to 5.2 Newton meters. So I'll set this to 5 Newton meters, lock it off. And so I'll watch it, which one? Crank goes around okay, it's not rubbing on anything. The only thing is it's obviously new seals, and you can feel that it's got an, it's just rubbing on the new seals, which is actually a good thing because it means they're a good seal. So I'll loosen up in time, that's all flown, there's definitely nothing grating. And once more, 0.6 goes in on the mag side. No contact there. 0.6 actually just goes in on the engine side, on the drive side. So that, to me, feels dead even, dead straight. It's not rubbing. I think we're on. Job's a good one. Okay, so I think that's job done. So the next job is going to be something like the sprocket at this end. We've got the clutch to go on down at that end. There's the chain. Yeah, the engine's coming along quite nicely.